Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Deep Drop. This is a fishing podcast, and if you are new here, welcome. And if you've been around for a while, also welcome. Big episode coming up tonight. This is another guest episode that we're very, very excited about. And what we didn't realise is we caught this person in the middle of a pretty epic, bloody adventure. The person I speak of is Lubin Pfeiffer, one of South Australia's most talented anglers and all-round nice guys. Lubin took the time to have a chat with us, which was awesome. But like I said, didn't realise we caught him in the middle of one of the most epic adventures on the Murray River. You'll hear a bit more about that in a second. Lubin is well-versed in all forms of fishing, whether it's freshwater fishing for natives, offshore for pelagics, or the finesse side of fishing in the estuaries. Lubin's done it all and continues to do it all. He's also a world champion. That's right, world champion fly fisher. Don't worry about the Commonwealth comment. It's world champion fly angler. So we got lots to talk to him about. So let's not muck around any further. Ladies and gentlemen, Lubin Pfeiffer. Where exactly are you? You say you're out in the bush. Like this is a deep drop first.
I'm actually doing probably the biggest trip I think I've ever done. I'm fishing 500 kilometers of the Murray River in one go. So
far out.
I think it's going to take me about a month.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
4 days in, so
maybe we should check back in a few weeks. It might be a completely different sounding Lubin.
Yeah, I know. So the only thing I'm worried about is suffering from exposure, but I think I'll be right. I've got a really nice campfire and I'm out of the wind here. So
what's brought that on? Like, is that something a bit of a challenge for yourself? Is it something that you've sort of wanted to do, or you just thought, fuck it, I'm going to go away for a month and just fish a massive river?
No, I've always wanted to do it in one go, like pretty much the whole fishable section of the South Australian Murray in one go. So it's just been on the list for ages, everything lined up. So I thought, it's a good time to just be on the river for a month.
How do you even prepare for a month on the river?
Sorry.
Or is the point
it's a good time to be on the river for a month? Can we that's a brilliant quote.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
Well, I think the current climate in this world is probably a good
mate.
time to be on the river for a month.
That's actually a great call. Sorry, Adam. I interrupted you there.
It's probably down here because there is shops and stuff along the river. It's probably a lot more doable than going too far out. So you can stock up once a week or however much you need to get sort of food. But I've got a pretty good kit for being able to do big drifts and stuff like that. So it's sort of the usual, but just a bit more fuel and food than normal.
So, talk us through. So in the boat, you've got the swags. You've got what is your kit? What's your setup? What are you rolling with?
I roll a swag, but I really like a pop-up tent.
Yep.
Because of the condensation. So or if you get a really big rain, say first day in the trip and then everything's wet after that, because to stop and dry everything out, it's a bit of a drama.
Yeah.
So pop-up tent's really good, swag in that. And then I just run a big ice box, clothes bag, a really well kitted out kitchen box with a Trangia cooker, and I've got the generator this time, which is good for just charging stuff up. But pretty basic, and then just the fishing gear.
Nothing wrong with basic. That sounds perfect.
It's the best way to do it.
Are you
less stuff to go wrong?
Yeah,
Correct.
that's a good call. Yeah, that's a great call. Are you capturing some of this for content, Lubin? Are you still doing the full scale fishing adventures on YouTube?
Been doing an episode a week for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
I think.
Unreal.
I'm going to do a big series on this trip, and I'm going to try and condense it a little bit. But there's just so much stuff. It's such a cool river, so it'll be hard to trim it right down. But we'll see.
I don't know about you, Adam. I feel like I am, and it feels a bit un-Australian. I don't know much about the Murray, and it sounds crazy because it is obviously such a big, part of our our fishing and our waterways, but I just feel so, and obviously, probably being from the coast, it probably plays a part, but I just feel like, and then when you sort of say that stretch into South Australia, it really feels foreign. I'm curious to get a bit of paint us a picture, like what you're doing at the moment, and maybe just the last few days that you've been doing it so far. Are you fishing big, wide stretches of fast-running water, or what? Like, take us there, Lubin. What are you doing?
It's like a series of lakes, really, And I was going to measure. I should have measured a bit the other day, but most stretches are 100 meters wide, more probably. It's an enormous
Massive.
river,
Yeah.
but the big thing that people don't understand about the Murray is it is the biggest river in Australia, but at the bottom of it, they've got this 170-kilometre long concrete wall that says, this is the end of the freshwater, start of the saltwater. Like, it's the saddest thing. And where I started this trip, the lower end, like the very lower end, is covered in willow trees, and it's always been like that. But that was actually the section that should be like mangroves and the big estuary, leading up into that change from salty to brackish to fresh. So the bottom, 100 kilometres of the Murray should be the greatest estuary for big mulloway and estuary perch, but it's this like giant carp breeding, like shallow lake that gets filled with fresh water. The bottom end of the Murray is amazing, and you could say all this stuff about it, but that thing to me just seems like that should be like a really well-known national crisis, that the Murray doesn't get to end its course like naturally. It's really sad.
Well, because there's literally a man-made structure just stopping it.
100-kilometre concrete wall they made in like 1910.
What was the point of it?
To give the water to the dairy farmers down the lower end at Murray Bridge and stuff, because all like the river, well, like the would have been estuary flats.
Yeah.
They made it all into dairy country.
So, can we start a petition to knock the wall down?
I would love to fly up the wall. And the other thing is, like, all the little dewies and everything, like, they're just against the wall going, I just need to go upstream. And, everyone's there, the seals, and, they're just smashing them.
So it's literally a blocker. Like, it's literally just blocking the road.
It's just the Coorong is like a little slither down the bottom, and it should be this giant estuary that runs for like 150 kilometers up the river. Because like I've got some old documents that state that there was dolphins at Mannum and garfish and mullet and salmon and stuff. And we just made it all fresh.
Wow.
It almost seems criminal.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's because imagine being able to plan a trip fishing.
Oh, imagine
everything.
The dewy, like the flats, like the endless flats of. That's one thing. Yeah, I don't want to go on this big South Australian rant, but we should have like big dewies on the flats down in the Coorong, and like in the Gulfs, all our snappers and dewies and kingies and stuff, but we just have a really good way of stuffing it up.
Yeah, what a show. Yeah, man, what could have been?
You look at the map of Australia, and like the significance of the Gulfs and the Murray.
Yeah,
like it's a huge, amazing bit. It should be like the go-to destination down south, but it's had a time, It's very sad.
And I'm not trying to be silly. If like, is it still necessary that wall and the and the reasoning for it? Is there a world that could be removed to sort of open up the estuary, or is that just? I mean, you're sort of more across the science of it all, Lubin, too. Is that sort of a bit dangerous environmentally to do something like that, to make it change like that, or because I'm just very narrow-mindedly just thinking, fuck, what a fishery that could be.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be so. I think, like I was told that, and I get it, that the lock system, it's staggered. Each one relies on the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, why can't we bring the first one back upstream enough that you let the tidal influence and everything do its thing, and then you start locking the fresh water and stuff like.
Mm.
I know there's a big pumping station like down further, but surely, like environmentally, it does. It seems crazy not to have it, the biggest river in Australia, have its estuary.
Have its estuary,
you know?
yeah. Have its natural
Yeah.
estuary form, yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
People should, it should just be like, a national, well, I guess it is sort of a national park or whatever it is, but yeah, people don't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's
Mm.
yeah. Okay.
It just seems
Anyway.
it just seems weird that like something like the Murray River, which is a national treasure, just kind of ends with a brick wall.
Yeah.
It's this.
You should go down there.
It
sometime.
sounds
Yeah.
mental.
Yeah, you can go down there and you can stand there, and it's like, this is the fresh water, this is the salt water. That's
Man.
where it ends. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we could probably. I feel like we could rile you up pretty easily, Lubin, on this stuff, but we're going to avoid it because you're on your own out in the middle of the bush. We don't want to rev you up too much.
And you are doing some cool shit, regardless.
100%.
We do have lots of cool stuff.
Yeah. What?
But it is,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
So what about the next couple of weeks for you? Are you cod focused? Like, what's the main thing from a fishing perspective for you?
I brought everything.
Yeah.
So I brought the cod gear, I brought the yellow gear, and also the fly rod for carp. So like yesterday or the day before, I pulled up, found this really good camp, and like down the lower end, you get these backwaters. So, these big sort of flats behind the main river. And went and caught carp on the flats on fly at the end of the day, just behind camp.
That's
So,
cool as.
yeah, I think it's good to have the options because it's not always to, down here. I think that's the other thing too. People don't realise, like, we get sea breezes and stuff like that, so it's not your typical sort of river scene. It's really big water and stuff. So I think it's good to have a few different options up your sleeve to make the most of it.
Yeah. A carp sounds probably a dumb question. A carp, a massive problem in that stretch of the Murray still.
The carp are a problem everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dumb
And
question.
I don't think it's from a perspective of like, I've seen the river when it's really, really clear and the carp have still been in really big numbers. I think irrigation makes the water dirty, but I just think from a native fish perspective, their breeding and stuff would just benefit so massively from getting rid of the carp,
Yeah.
And if you could just sort of turn it a little bit where they're in power, because there is just there's millions and millions of carp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned fly fishing. We can't, because there's heaps we want to talk to you about tonight. But how much are you still waving the wand, Lubin? We've been known to take the piss a little bit on the deep drop of fly fishing, but that's only because Adam and I are really shit at it. Just being completely honest. But I don't know I think you do know. We have an Australian or a world champion in our presence right now.
Yeah.
Are you still fly fishing?
Commonwealth champion.
World champion.
World. Yeah. Don't play it down, mate. What's happening in your fly fishing world? Are you still doing it as much as you did? Is the competitive or the competition stuff still happening for you personally? What are you up to in that space?
I actually retired from competition fly fishing, like fly fishing for trout.
Right.
I did it for 20 years, so I thought that was it. Like, and just with the full scale, I thought it was time for a change. So, but I still like to do it as much as I possibly can. Just not doing as much trout on fly stuff these days. But yeah, still love all the other stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you delved into waving the wand at cod and yellows? Surely.
I've done so much of it, and I'm the kind of guy these days with the fly that fishes when it's appropriate. So if it's the right technique for that, situation, and like fly, I think in a lot of cases is better for trout than spin. Um, I reckon the flat stuff up north quite often that can be really good with the fly. The carp is better than spin. Um, so I think in those situations, I'd rather fish a fly because it is the most effective, like anyway,
Yeah. I
if that makes sense. But
No,
for
it's
cod, like,
totally makes sense.
yeah, cod's terrible. So yeah, I don't fish for cod on fly because it's the worst way to try and make something that's already a grind.
Yeah.
Why would you try and make it even
That's-
harder? So I've done heaps of it, and I've learned to just fish for what's appropriate, and cod's not one of them.
There's times a lot when I'm trout fishing that I think if only I knew how to fly fish, because it just seems like it would be a way better or way more effective way to fish in a certain stretch of river or something. You and I fish pretty skinny water stuff, and I always think some of those shallower sort of rapids or whatever. I just think I reckon if you're floating a fly, fuck, I can't even talk fly fishing. I don't even know what I'm saying.
If I was half competent at waving a fly rod, we might be a better chance at catching a fish than we are bombing hard bodies into extremely shallow water and cracking the shits when they hit a rock every time.
The thing that plays mentally with me though, Lubin, we're putting lures in trees. If you've got flies going back and forth, I'm fucked. I won't get one in the water. Like, are you good at fishing?
Well, you got to.
Huh?
Well,
no, I was just gonna. You got to use the cast appropriate for the situation.
Yeah. See,
if
this is
trees
see,
around,
this is
you're
I'm
probably not
already
really waving around the air.
yeah. See, this is where I'm
I've already
screwed.
tapped out.
Shorten up.
And because it was the first and last time that I fly fished, Lubin, I had the fly connected to it wasn't even a tree. It was a piece of grass behind me. Like, not even in front. And it was the last time I ever fly fished. It just hasn't... It's an art form. It makes spin fishing just seem so easy.
Well, the last time I fly fished, I ended up with a fly in my ear.
Yeah.
So it's not a great track record for Adam and I. We have both mentioned at some point we would like to get into it and learn from maybe yourself. Maybe we can sling you some cash, Lubin. Just give us a few pointers, because God, we're going to need it anyway.
I think for the right species, in the right situation, fly is it is really good.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, we wanted to kick into a little bit of South Australia chat if we can, and I don't want to get bogged down in the politics of what's happening, or it's not even politics, it's environmental. But I guess one thing, and you and I have spoken on the phone, Lubin, briefly about this stuff before. I think one thing from our perspective sort of in Victoria, and I hear a bit the same from sort of New South Wales and stuff, is we struggle to get the full picture of what's happening in South Australia at the moment, and I'm referring to the algal bloom, that we're almost... Are we 12 months in now? Is that fair? Is that right?
I think it's... is it over 12
It might
months?
be a fraction over 12 months
I thought
now.
it was summer last year,
Yeah. So what's if it's possible, is there a snapshot state of play that you can kind of give us from your perspective?
Well, just the fact that it started around that Murray Mouth area and then moved up into the Gulf, St. Vincent, and then down across the bottom. And yeah, the Spencer Gulf was reasonably untouched, but it sort of moved up that eastern southern side at the moment, which is a little bit sad. There's a lot of good whiting grounds through there. And a friend of mine was off of a place called Corny Point. That was, might have been a couple of months ago, but he just said that's the first time he's actually seen it in the flesh, and it's just a big foamy, horrible mess just floating out there. So it just depends on where it's going to float to next, I think. But I think the thing that people don't understand is that there's a lot of the coast that's totally unaffected. But certainly around Adelaide and, the Gulf St. Vincent's already had its issues. as far as like fishing pressure and stuff anyway. So
Yeah.
for that to go through, that was a bit of a nail in the coffin sort of thing.
So is it getting any better?
I think it's getting better. There's reports of the big thing is there's been no squid around.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
but people are still catching whiting and stuff where they weren't before. So that's really good.
Yeah.
So I think like a lot of it's sort of starting to come back a little bit, but the squid has been a really big issue.
Yeah, yeah, and as you say, I think one of the things that we spoke about when I called you probably might have been just pre-Christmas. From if you just if you just flick on the news, it's the whole of South Australia is a complete disaster. But when you actually look at it, yes, it's a very obviously popular area and close to sort of metro, I guess. So it's right in the thick of it where a lot of people go fishing. But Jesus, there's a lot of coastline that and obviously inland that's good to go. It's clean, it's free of any of that, and it's very, very fishable. So it's kind of it's a tough one to try and wrap your head around if you're not probably from South Australia. But it's good to hear that there is still plenty to do. But it's just kind of spreading that message and encouraging people, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like I'm probably in a bit like I'm lucky position that I get to travel a lot, but I think that's one thing that if you do want good fishing, you might just have to go a little bit further than what you did before. There's still some really, really amazing fishing out there, but maybe not super local like it was for a lot of people
Yeah, yeah,
in certain areas.
yeah, yeah.
Have you found Lubin it's pushing more people into, say, fishing the Murray like what you're doing, or are they branching out and going, okay, well, this is probably not as great as what it was or could be? Are people getting quite active at finding other alternatives or other things to do to sort of scratch the fishing itch?
I think there's a few that have turned to rivers sort of stuff, but uh, I think for the algae bloom sort of, that was people that were chasing whiting and garfish and, fish that they tend to eat a lot more. So those people probably are not necessarily going to the river to catch a feed. Like they may not be fishing as much at all as what they were before. So I think, a little bit of focus pressure on the river stuff, but as a whole, you'll probably find there's less people fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a really funny sort of, for a lot of people, they haven't. I know this isn't necessarily the first time it's happened, but for a lot of people, it's the first time experiencing something that's stopping them from doing what they love. And we've had the same conversation with people in Western Australia with some of the closures of, demersal fishing and stuff like that. It throws a spanner in the mix. But I think the one constant with fishing is it's like, you tell me I can't do one thing, or for environmental reasons I can't do one thing. Well, I'm not going to fucking sit around. I want to go fishing, so I'm going to go find something to do, which is really cool to see. But, geez, it makes it hard when when it really is out of your hands or whatever.
The bread and butter stuff. I think when it starts affecting bread and butter fishing, it's always going to have like you're saying, Lubin, there's a small percentage that'll find other things, but I think the vast majority of our game in fishing is still with that bread and butter stuff, whether it's a family
absolutely.
ducking down to the pier and trying to catch a couple of squid and gars for a feed, or if it's just salmon off the beach, or if it's just that easy weekend stuff that gets everyone involved without too much hassle.
Yeah, totally.
What is the beach, and I suppose algae aside, is the beach fishing, because it's something we've always heard about South Australia, is the beach fishing is bloody awesome, and mulloway, big salmon, whatever. Is that still something that, because again, anyone, everyone, kids and beginners and experts and really good anglers can go do it. Is it something that people are still flocking to the beaches to do, Lubin?
Yeah, like SA has some of the most amazing beach fishing, and a lot of that west coast stuff. So pretty much, from Port Lincoln west of there. We did it a couple of years ago. Went to Yallata, and Scotty Gray got like a 60, 70 pound mulloway off the beach. It was awesome, and there's still a lot of places that are super wild and massive schools of salmon and just all that dream fishing. And Yeah, like I said, like it's a bit further to drive, but realistically, there's so much coastline where you could go and experience all this incredible stuff. That's just still pristine.
That's awesome. That is so good. Now, I messaged you the other week about if you could add a species to South Australia, what would it be? And you very diplomatically and professionally said, snapper would be good to have back, and we totally respect it, but we went a different angle, Lubin, and it's a good segue talking about beach fishing because we said, I reckon if we introduce now, keep in mind this is full fantasy, so don't we got a few messages from people saying you can't introduce that fish, but relax. We said rooster fish for South Australia. Think about the beaches,
just to give the beaches something else.
Big tarpon.
But we could only have one species for the country, and tarpon was taken, I think, in WA,
Western Australia, yeah.
Yeah.
So they took that, and we ended up landing on rooster fish for South Australia. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about rooster fish.
Well, I was fascinated with this because Luke did the message around the entire country, and we had a few people everywhere that were just, this is what. The giant tarpon was probably the most mentioned species.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have in a million years expected everyone to go, I don't care about everything else. If anything I could pick, just give us giant tarpon. Yeah. I didn't think it was that. And to hear you say it as well, I'm like, this giant tarpon thing, it's incredible.
They are the coolest fish on the planet.
Have you travelled to chase them?
No, that's the one thing that I would like to do.
It's on the list. They do seem pretty. It's pretty it's very very foreign. It's pretty cool. And you'd do that. You'd be chucking flies for them, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I was just going to say we get like really good flats fishing for big kingies here, but just to have like a fish that does that, but then jumps all over the place.
Yeah, that's true.
Cartwheels and stuff. So I'd take one on spin, like conventional first, and then do a fly one or whatever. Whatever's
awesome.
most suitable at the time.
It's so good.
It's pretty. Well, there was that, and black bass were mentioned ads for a lot of people too. And I just think they're just these brutal fish that everyone just wants to tangle with, and then once you get one, you're like, holy shit, what was that? But yeah. The giant tarpon could be, What about that? So the one thing I've been, we've watched a lot of your stuff over the years, Lubin, and followed along and seen you fishing pretty much every aspect and element of fishing in Australia. You've kind of had a crack at, done it pretty well, very well. One thing that I feel like I notice is you tend to come back to that freshwater, that chasing the natives. Is that your jam? Like, is that your most comfortable and passionate sort of fishery, that cod, yalla, freshwater scene?
I think everyone finds their niche on YouTube, and for me, it has been that sort of Murray cod native stuff. But I think everyone has a river or a place that stays with them, and for me, that's the Murray. Well, then the Murray-Darling Basin. I fished it a lot over the last 20-something years, and there's still heaps of places I haven't been or, done in a big run for a month or whatever. So
that's all about the chases.
We're pretty lucky. We're pretty lucky to have this place. Like, I've had people come from, different parts of the world to come and fish the Murray. So, I think, it's nice to be able to promote something that we're really lucky to have.
In a world of hyping things up, and whether it's a species or a location, I feel like, do you feel like the Murray's underrated?
Yeah, I think, well, it's always been a bit of a hard fishery because it's so big, It's had little pockets of, but maybe underrated that it just hasn't been explored enough yet.
Yeah, and I think where I'm going is, like you mentioned, that people from around the world, like it is a very unique a river and fishery that people don't get to experience outside of Australia, but it also internally, like I would hazard a guess that people tend to go, oh, let's go up north to the Barrier Reef or head up to Darwin and fish for barra in the rivers. But it's not it's not on the tip of your tongue when you're talking about sort of, dream locations, but it's iconic. Like it's such a beautiful piece of water. It holds the number one iconic Australian species. You probably go head to head with barra, but you know what I mean.
Southern,
like it's
for southern Australia,
for the southern part of the country for sure. I mean, the content, the stuff you do on YouTube is awesome testament to it, and it really showcases it. I just feel like it almost deserves to be held on a higher pedestal. Now, it isn't easy, and maybe that's why. And I'm not to throw shade on a lot of the content, but a lot of it is far north, tropical, clear water. Chuck something in the water and it'll get eaten. So it's not as simple as that. Obviously, where you are, but I don't know, man. It's such an iconic river, and what you're doing is so cool. I'm actually hanging. Even just hearing that you're gonna sort of drop a series on what you're doing, I'm itching to see some of it. Don't leave too much out, mate. By the way,
no, I was going to say, and as soon as you said a month doing it, Lubin, straight away, and I'm gonna ask you just flat out, what are you expecting from this month? And I mean solely from a fishing perspective, is when you're planning. It doesn't even need to be a month long. Say it's a weekend. Say it's a week, whatever. In your case, it's a month. How does this work in a fishing landscape? As in, are you expecting to go days where the fishing's going to be so incredibly tough, you're about ready to pack it in, but it's just looking for the right water? Or is your plan just to fish everything and get some sort of pattern on what these fish are doing day by day and just keep building, or have you got a plan in mind? Is that big go-to PB cod waiting, and this is the trip to find it, or is it just soak in the beauty of the Murray for a month? There's going to be fish. There's going to be some hard work. There's going to be some awesome times. There's going to be some terrible weather. There's going to be some trophy fish. There's going to be some carp on fly. It's just taking in the entire experience. What's your expectation of fishing for a month straight on the Murray?
I think it's definitely that take it all in, because you can, the cod grind can be overwhelming, so you can definitely wear yourself out. And like the first couple of days, what's really interesting about this particular bit of the Murray, the big slow flowing bit of the Murray, is the first couple of days the water was terrible. I struggled, but I just kept going because I know that you get these little pockets of clear water that come through, depending on whether the lock's settled out or whatever. So, and then I came into some nice water yesterday afternoon, got a nice fish, got another one this morning, and I think that's really what the trip's going to be. Is that you've just got to take each day as it comes, because I always get asked, it's like, oh, I'm going to go and do something like this. Where should I go? What's the river doing and stuff? And a lot of the time, once you're out there, you don't get to decide. So if you've allocated, a month, you just need to commit to the month. Like this one, I'm in for the long game, so I'm just trying to fish, those prime times. It's interesting down here. Prime times like 10 till 2 during the day, and I think that's just, I don't know, maybe there's more light going into the water. They can see your lures better, or, but yeah, it's just taking each day as it comes and fishing as I go. Skip the bad bits and take the time in the better bits.
Is it all new water to you? Have you fished most of what you're about to do over the next month?
Yeah, I've fished quite a lot of it. There's a few little bits. Where I started, I haven't actually been through that bit before. Yeah, but I have fished quite a lot of it. It'll just be nice to be able to do it all in one big go.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
unreal. I'm pretty. I think these are the sort of these journey type content series is something that I feel like we almost don't see enough of in Australia, because there's so much of what we do, whether it's trekking up some trout rivers for a couple of days, or it's kayaking through, East Gippsland ads for a few days, or, cruising up the Murray for a month, or heading up north. That stuff there is so addictive from a consumer point of view, where I know, Adam, you and I talk about it all the time. We get sucked into, well, not sucked in a bad way, but we get completely engrossed in a series or something. So this will be cool. So, you're gonna have some wins and fails, and I think that's great to see all that as well. Whether it's losing a great fish or your tent blowing off in a storm. Hey, I'm not trying to wish any of that upon you, by the way.
No, it's already, like, I did have a hole in the air mattress. So, yeah.
It's 4 days in, Lubin.
There's a bit of me. And, like, I've just been doing the last few nights, with the holes in the air mattress, but I've patched it up and stuff.
Yeah,
so
a bit of duct tape, mate.
We've already had our first drama.
And what is, Adam just mentioned before, if you're going to sort of target a PB, I don't even know. What is your PB, cod?
Look, I've been really lucky, to fish.
Don't play it down. How big's the cod?
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't measure stuff, so I've caught really big ones. I haven't seen my PB for a long time. So
okay, all right. No. This is cool because, Lubin, I remember growing up in the tackle shop and seeing, yourself on the front cover of Freshwater Fishing magazine with big cod, and obviously following your stuff on YouTube since that started in bits and pieces. We know 100%. We know you're not shy and have seen, or shy and seeing big fish. But this is what interests me, and I think it's why, Luke, you asked Lubin, have you fished it before? What are you doing? And is this sort of your preferred species? Lubin, you've seen as many big cod and as most people will ever see in a lifetime, yet here you are still planning out and executing a month-long trip to potentially see them again. I could argue you were doing the big Murray cod thing before it was even cool. I mean, have a look at it now. It's taken over recreational fishing. It's whether it's Lake Eildon or any of the impoundments through New South Wales and Victoria. The competition scene is massive for Murray cod, and it's growing every year. What is it about Murray cod for you, Lubin? Like I said, you've seen the biggest cod that exists, and here you are still grinding away, doing a month on the river, chasing the same thing. What is it about Murray cod?
I think in this particular area, I do like that gentleman hours sort of fishing. So you get the potential for having, an amazing fish, but still being able to have a campfire and dinner, and maybe not get up before sunrise and stuff. So I think from that side of things, this trip's really enjoyable, that it is a little bit more cruisy. It's interesting. Why do I keep trying to chase them? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that question is.
Is it the sort of species where you can't get bored of because there's numerous ways to target them? You mentioned before you've brought everything, just because you'll find the right situation or something to use in any situation. We talk about it all the time in fishing, that you can't clock it. There's no defeating fishing. There's always something that throws a spanner, that makes you think and makes you sidestep. Is that what? Do you reckon there's an element of that for you?
I was just thinking about it then. Cod are never predictable. You might expect that you can get one chance a day, but it's never. They're almost. They're just very unpredictable. So it's not like, salmon fishing or tuna fishing or, those sorts of species like cod or like barra. You can't go and set up on a point and, on the tide change or the whatever, like when the moon rises, the fish are going to start coming past. Cod are their own thing, and each fish is unique. Each fish does different stuff. They're not all the same, and even after doing it for so long, they still annoy me because they just don't do the things that they should do, you know.
Yeah.
And then one does it, and you're like, well, why didn't all the other ones do that? You know? Yeah.
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 Have you got anything that
Yeah.
you, because we've got a very much a why not attitude on the deep drop, and what I mean by that is quite often very regularly we just talk absolute nonsense, but then we come back to, but why wouldn't it work? So, you know, we might be talking about, you know, chucking spinner baits around for snapper, and you go, well, why wouldn't it work? That surely, you know, on the drop and blah blah blah. Have you got something that you've had in the back of your mind for years or a long time with Murray cod, and you think like, why wouldn't it work? But you've never really gotten around to doing it because it just feels a bit wrong. It might be a lure style. It might be just a way you I don't know. I just feel like there's things.
I can tell you, I spent a long time trying to catch a big one on fly in the actual Murray itself, and I said that to myself a lot. Like, why doesn't this work? Like, it should work, but it doesn't. You can cast it as many logs as you like, and they just don't care. Yeah. But then you throw like a big crankbait or something, and they eat it. And you're like, well, what's the diff? Yeah. But now everyone's using flies on.
Well, I was just about to ask.
And that works. And it's like, well, what the hell?
Yeah, but Lubin, is there a small piece of you as a world champion, not
world champion of the world,
fly fisherman? Does it kind of give you the shits a little bit that the spin dudes are kind of starting to encroach on the game a little bit?
Well, it's funny because when I did stuff for Big Angry Fish, we were using scoots for snapper. Like, that was the big thing.
Was that here or there over in New Zealand?
In New Zealand. I used them over here as well.
Okay.
And they were really good. And now it's like, everyone's onto them for the barra and the cods and stuff. So it's funny because it's like, that was a scoot. We just called them scoots.
When you were in the thick of the fly fraternity, with the national team, did you guys put shit on everyone else? Like,
please, did.
Yeah, like, would you see a couple of guys flicking soft plastics in a river and you just go, fucking losers? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
This is great. Yeah. This is great. This is what I thought. This is what we thought. Hey, do you reckon there's enough competition in Australia, Lubin? And I'm being serious. I think we think fishing should be an Olympic sport, and we love the competition scene for barra, bass, and and brim. Obviously, what you did with fly, I still don't think it got enough airtime. I know we put shit on fly fishing ads, but realistically, this is world champs, Commonwealth champs, whatever. Like, it's competing against other nations, and it didn't get the love, I don't reckon, Lubin, and still doesn't probably. But across the board, like, is there a world in your mind where it goes wider than just fly fishing? Fishing becomes international competition. Have you ever thought about it?
Well, I think the fly comps are pretty good for that. There's 30.
Yeah.
35 or whatever countries that go to the Worlds. That's a lot, as far as international competitions go that are fishing.
100%.
You've got, there's the black bass one, but I don't think, how many countries go to that? There's only like a dozen or something, isn't there?
Yeah. So with the fly part of it, I mean, does it rotate? Is it in a different location every year, or does everyone go to the same? Is it held in the same place? Is it every year, or is it every other year, or how does it work?
It's every year, but in a different country.
Oh, awesome! So there's like home water advantage and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not always, because it'll just be the French or the Spanish or something that'll just flog everyone because they always seem to win all the time.
Really?
Oh, that's
bloody
interesting.
French.
Oh, they're amazing. You can put them anywhere in the world, and they will catch more fish than anybody.
Is that right? That's like the American basketball team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they are that good. Yeah.
But you've knocked them off though.
No, not in a world championships.
Well, you just say you
So-
did. But I'm with you at the scale of it, and it is. It's amazing. 35 nations competing. What I'm saying is, I don't think it gets enough publicity.
Well, I think what I really liked about the comp fly fishing is that it was a lot about skill and not about what you
Yeah.
had or anything like that. You know, like we did one of the brim tournaments this year, and that I love that format. But you know, the boats are not all even and stuff like this. So
Yeah.
whereas
Yeah, it's a
with
good
the
point.
fly comp, it's like there's say if there's 3 rivers, 2 lakes, you don't get to decide where you go on the river, and you get a random boat draw. The dude might be rowing, so there's no electronics or anything like that. It's purely how you present, to the fish is whether you're going to get the eat or not, and
Which is cool
it
because
just
that's
comes
100.
down to skill.
That is
It's
100% a
100%
skill based. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I still think, at some stage there's got to be a way we can do that kind of, I suppose, format. I don't know. I love the spectator side of being involved in something like that too. And I don't. We've mucked around with the idea of stadium fishing and all that, but really being real about it, it's like you see what the bass tournaments are like in the States, or the Japanese have some good sort of stuff over there too. But I don't know. I just think it'd be really cool to celebrate some of our. We're throwing you straight into the Australian team, by the way, Lubin. If we end up making the Olympics, whether it's fly or spin,
Make it
you're
come
in
back.
there.
Yeah, make it come back.
Yeah. Coming out of retirement, mate.
So I guess what you're saying is, Luke, is how do we turn this bad boy into more of a spectator sport? We want the rivalries. We want we want the good guys and the bad guys and the characters and the overtime wins and the chaos.
Well, I just think I look at it and think it's good for everyone. It's good for getting more and more younger people interested in fishing now, whether that ends up becoming competitive and whatever, or just the hobby like it, which is awesome, what it should be. But it's also good for tackle companies. It's good for the spectators who just want to enjoy it. I don't know. There's something in it. One day.
Olympics. That's where it's going to happen.
It's got to. It makes sense. The host nation. Lubin, if the Olympics were held in Australia and fishing was part of it, would you think what would be the species that would be the Olympic event? Would it be one of our natives like cod or barra, or what do you reckon?
It'd have to be barra, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it.
Just because, I think cod are a good comp species to a point, but I think barra, I think barra's it's probably better from a spectator point of view as well. You could do bass or trout or something, but I think, if you had to choose one, it'd definitely be barra.
Yeah, Barry. Yeah, it kind of gives the full spectacle, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we should win. We should beat everyone.
France.
Nah.
We should beat the French.
Yeah, France probably. Yeah.
We should beat. Surely we beat the Spaniards.
Like, fuck. They can have tennis. We'll have fishing.
I was looking. I've been looking at just some, like Adam said before. Again, we've seen you on magazines and TV and everything over the years. And I was thinking about. Obviously, we've spoken about cod. We've seen you do everything, all sorts of stuff. Lots of blue water stuff. Lots of that inshore whiting, squid, the estuary stuff as well. If you were to, this is a bit of a question without notice. If you were to represent the country in a particular style of fishing, where would you feel most confident that you could bring home gold for Australia? If we said, all right, freshwater chasing natives, offshore chasing pelagics, the estuary scene, where is it for you that you'd put your hand up and go, I will captain this team and bring home gold?
I'm a pretty good finesse fisherman, so maybe some of the light tackle stuff, but my wife will tell you that I have this unique ability to just keep going until I achieve like something like cod or whatever like that. So I've got to, if you're going to throw me in for something that I'm probably going to do well at, it's like, all right, we need one of these big ones. and your job is to catch it, then I could probably do that, I think.
Yeah, nice.
Brilliant. Captain material, Adam.
Yeah, no,
Captain
it's
material.
a leader right there. That's a leader.
That's a leader right there.
Yeah.
He's bringing home gold. I can feel it.
Get one bite, make it count.
Convert it.
See?
That's right.
Love this.
Yeah,
that's
love
the
it.
halftime speech to the team.
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking hell. You been doing much offshore stuff, mate?
I was supposed to be driving to WA at the moment, actually.
Right.
But,
Well, that's been
you know,
postponed for a month.
Yeah, that's right. So, but no, I haven't. No, not much offshore stuff. Like, yeah, I did a big run of that whiting stuff, and then mainly just river stuff lately. So
Yeah, nice. The whiting thing's awesome. I love. I think we speak about a bit. I've gotten into the soft plastic whiting thing for the last couple of years, and I know you do a heap of it too. And it's so cool to see more and more people getting into it. I had a brief chat online with Mark Lacroix today, based over in WA, and some of the King George white. I didn't realise they had monster King George whiting in WA. Have you seen them? Ridiculous.
Yeah.
They existed over
yeah,
Like proper ones. Yeah. So I love that we can take a bread and butter species like whiting that have been a staple forever and add a bit of, something else to it.
We turned him into a sports fish.
Yeah, like literally. Yeah. But it's also super effective, right? Like, are you doing it, Lubin, in shallow water, or because I think I've seen you do it in some deeper sort of water with the plastics. Is that right?
yeah. I've sort of had good success up to like 10 meters of water so far. So, but everywhere I've used those whiting worms, they've caught them really good. So
I was just about to ask: is it in your neck of the woods? Because it is like this in Vic. It's a worm thing. You can try all the other plastics that you want to, and you might accidentally get one at one point. But if you want to catch them consistently, it's got to be a worm.
it's got to be the worm. They love the worm.
Because it's just what they're cruising around sucking out of the ground, I suppose.
I think they more than you realise.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And aggressive, the aggressive strike on. I took Adam out for might have been last summer ads for your first sort of
first time I'd ever done it. Yep.
And I remember sort of talking to you saying how the strike is so much more aggressive than you realise. I think they just got that that see worm, eat worm quickly, because otherwise it's going back into the ground type mentality, I reckon. But it's awesome. It's awesome. And one thing you mentioned before, and I was going to jump on it because it's a really interesting one for me, who is in in my day job in that retail space, that tackle space. You mentioned the squid in South Australia is, I don't know if you said the word non-existent, but is it something that's happening at all, or is it completely like shut down because of the algae?
I don't think many people are catching them. I think there's like the Spencer Gulf is still sort of okay in some spots, but I don't think people are catching many squid. So
because that's a big deal.
That's a
Hey,
big one.
A massive bread and butter market, massive,
huge,
yeah,
huge. Where are we going to send all the lime chartreuse squid jigs?
Yeah. The old Qantas redhead,
whatever it's called, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to let you go. I've got a couple of quick fire questions for you just to round out, because I know you're probably ready to really get stuck into a couple of tins before you pop up the tent. And this is actually perfect, given that, and I had no idea you were doing this trip you're on right now, by the way. So I was going to ask you about a big topic of discussion for the deep drop is what food and snacks you're taking fishing with you. What is your cannot go without boat snack or fishing snack, Lubin?
Look, I have lived off of chicken burgers for the last, I don't know how long. Like, my thing was to buy just a pack of chicken burgers, and I'd eat chicken burgers like night after night. But I've treated myself to pre-packed meals. So I've been, eating carbonaras and other fancy stuff this time.
So la-dee-da.
So you're glamping, Lubin. You're glamping.
Yeah. But yeah, usually just chicken burgers. Yeah, that's what I'll be eating day after day.
Surely on a trip like that, you've gone hard in stockpiling barbecue shapes. I mean, that's something that just needs to be.
You like a Twiggy stick?
Oh yeah,
Twiggy sticks.
Yeah.
Yep. Solid.
Are you a jerky guy?
Not really a jerky guy. Salami.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Okay.
Salami.
Yeah, we can work with that. Yeah,
Cheese
we can work with it.
Yeah.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Okay, so you fancy.
charcuterie board.
Yeah. And another one. So and the lastly, and this is huge because I don't know. Like I feel like you're really going to have done a bit of prep for this when it comes to setting up playlists. But what sort of tunes are you pumping while you're fishing? Typically speaking.
It sucks because when I'm filming, I'm sort of on the job, so I don't listen to tunes and stuff. So, look, if I was just a leisure trip, I'd be, I'm a 90s skater punk by heart.
Yes. Nice. Yes,
Lewis. Like NoFX and Pennywise and stuff like that. But
this is
when
brilliant.
I'm filming, I treat it like work. So I don't crank the tunes. I'm sort of on the ball a bit.
Well, also you can't really, right? Because you have what are the music infringement fucking rights and stuff for YouTube.
Yeah,
so.
all that stuff. Yeah.
I love that. I'm just picturing Lubin on his one of those float rafts, cruising down a river, chasing topwater cod, just pumping some Pennywise. I think that's brilliant. I love that.
So good.
Yeah, can't go wrong.
All right. Well, mate, I'm that pumped to keep on what you're up to and keep up to date. Are you sort of doing some social stuff, sort of while on the trip that we can keep up to date with, or is it just going to be a big download at the end of the trip?
Yeah, usually I just bank it all and then deal with it when I get home. So
yeah, fair.
Yeah, and also
that's what the plan is.
And leave it all in, Lubin. We're frothing to see all the bits and pieces, the billion cockies screeching at you when you get up in the morning, bird shit everywhere, and then clear the decks for a couple of big cod in the sweet spot of 10 to 2, just gentlemen's hours. It's perfect.
10 to 2. That's
right.
That's
perfect.
Brilliant.
It's perfect.
It sounds right up our alley. Ads. I think this is something we could get into. Hey mate, we'll leave you alone. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy the rest of your trip. The Full Scale Fishing Adventures, of course, on YouTube. For anyone who's listening now, over the next couple of months, get on that, subscribe, because there's going to be a series that you're not going to want to miss. Lubin, thanks so much for your time tonight. We can't wait. Well, let's try and catch up at the end of the trip.
Get a debrief
and get a debrief if you're up for it.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Mate, enjoy yourself. Stay safe and have fun, mate. Have fun. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Cheers, boys.